At this point, she decided to surrender to police, but her daughter argued, "It's not our fault. If she hadn't done weird things for us, none of this would have happened." However, Lisa scolded her daughter harshly, and just then, surprisingly, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Lisa instantly tensed up, rushing to the door and asking what the visitor wanted, but Nick shot back with a question. He arched an eyebrow. "If reported, forget it. If not, I can help. Hiding a body isn't easy." Lisa's face changed. She hustled her daughter back, then opened the door in panic, finding Nick alone. She finally sighed in relief, puzzled how he knew, and Nick replied he was a math teacher. It was a simple equation. If A equals B, and B equals C, logically speaking, then it must equal C. Nick elaborated clearly on this, yet Lisa still felt somewhat confused about it. She was baffled how Nick knew they were the same. Nick said he saw a cigarette butt and blanket-wrapped shoes at the door. A regular blanket is about 1.8 meters long. This morning, stranger was that tall, like staring at her. Her eyes were like deep wells, pulling her in. Lisa was a bit freaked out, but she also realized the blanket really was 1.8 meters long, and that stranger's build this morning. At this point, Lisa had no choice but to recount the whole story again. She hoped Nick would keep her secret, saying she'd confess immediately. Just then, her daughter walked out, prompting Lisa to send her back hurriedly. But Nick stopped her because even though she was trying to protect her daughter, the police would still pick up on something from the body, the marks and the clearly not by one person. No one has spiked hands. Lisa anxiously looked at her daughter, then at Nick. She didn't want Nick to be implicated, but Nick said he was already deeply involved. Concealing it was illegal. After discussing with her daughter, Lisa made up her mind. Nick lifted the body, told the girl to tidy the room, and moved it to his own. He then asked Lisa to recount the day's events. Nick found a hotel bill among his belongings, showing a 3-day booking. So, they had just 1 day left. After Lisa left, Nick observed the body, making odd moves. The next day, Lisa pretended to go to work as usual, unaware a police officer had arrived. This was linked to the case of the man who died last night. Police had enough evidence her husband long-traded flyer, and through tracking, the suspect's last phone signal was here. Police inquired, with locals using his photo, akin to finding a needle in a haystack. Finding him was no easy feat. The two headed to a diner, hoping to grab a meal, oblivious to the fact that the restaurant's owner was none other than the wife of the suspect they were desperately looking for. Yet they had no clue and showed the suspect's photo to her, causing Lisa to suddenly look quite anxious. But in an instant she smiled, saying she didn't know him. Fortunately, the owner didn't notice. As she sighed in relief, Nick rushed in. "Good morning, teacher." "Good morning, sir. 1 protein meal, please." "Dad, 1 protein meal." "Good morning, teacher." "Twice." "More." "Juice, this is our chance." 1,95,675. Who would have thought they were college classmates? Nick was pretty good at math and ultimately chose to be a teacher, while his junior chose to become a policeman. Just then, the man's phone rang, and he had to rush out, but Nick brushed it off. Lisa panicked, informing Nick about the junior search. Nick, however, got furious upon hearing this and warned Lisa again to act like strangers they absolutely couldn't be seen by anyone. With that, he stormed off, while the junior detectives tracked down the hotel untouched due to a "Do Not Disturb" sign, which meant it hadn't been cleaned for 2 days. The owner said the suspect inquired about the school, and the junior detective also recalled they had just passed by a school not long ago, but why would a drug dealer care about that? As the two pondered, they spotted Lisa picking up her daughter, recalling she had called near the diner. The woman said she hadn't seen anyone, raising a strange sense of dread for the junior detective. Sure enough, following police investigation, they swiftly found out, seen by Nick upstairs. He hurried to warn Lisa, but hesitated at the door. Nick waited until nighttime to call her from the downstairs public phone. Upon learning their marriage registration, he started to worry. He warned Lisa to be careful of the junior detective because the police had begun to suspect her, and they would soon come to question. When he heard Lisa was a little nervous, Nick quickly reassured her, advising her to only answer questions, never volunteer information, because he knew his junior detective far too well. Nick thought his plan was perfect, but unexpectedly, the police found the man's body on the mountain the next day. When the junior detective arrived, he found the body reduced to ashes. Such an exciting plot deserved a girlfriend looking for one. Come to really. Thousands of hands, emphasizing high educational quality, offers comprehensive info with multiple reviews. Fake spanned instantly. Finding the body, Nick quickly ran to check it out over and over. He just couldn't help himself. Fortunately, an unburned ID at the scene helped identify the deceased, raising suspicions for the junior. Seeing the body, Sochard raised a puzzling question. Why would the killer be careless enough to leave clues behind? He suspected foul play to divert the investigation, but soon the police found bloodstains on the clothing, leading them back to the hotel. They found hair on the bedding. Just as the junior detective planned to expose the murderer, the coroner dealt a crushing blow. It seemed that the only option left to pursue a lead was to release it at this point. That night, the junior detective visited. Seeing the photos again, Lisa admitted their relationship but explained that she initially lied, saying she didn't know him, as her husband left years ago. She didn't want ties with him, so kept it secret.